We're here tonight at the first MinnPost Asks at Hell's Kitchen, and Doug Groh will be interviewing the Majority Leader of the House, Matt Dean, and the Minority Leader, Paul Thissen. We have food and a cash bar and a lot of mingling before and after. There'll also be a chance for members of the audience to ask questions. So we think we'll have fun with people who are interested in public affairs and want to know what's going on in the legislature.
So thanks again for your support of MinnPost, and now I'd like to turn it over to our esteemed reporter, Doug Groh.
We got a new budget forecast, and all of a sudden, instead of a $6.2 billion deficit, we are facing a $5 billion deficit. So my question is, does that mean that's enough money for a Vikings stadium?
And I think right now we need to find our budget that funds our priorities within our means, and anything related to a Viking stadium is going to have to wait until after that. So any discussions of that is going to have to wait until at least the end of the session.
Taken care of. It's hard for us to go out and raise taxes to build a Viking stadium when we're not willing to raise taxes to fund schools and roads and public safety.
For all the anger that we hear outside of politics, despite the disagreements that these two have philosophically, the collegiality is pretty remarkable.
And it is very, very easy to get your feet stuck in the concrete of talking points of your side. And I always found that it's sometimes instructive if you're debating somebody on the other side of the aisle to say, all right, you know my points, I know your points. Let's switch sides and argue the opposite side and see how well we do.
Don't give any ideas. Compromise is what our political process ultimately is all about. If we are going to have compromise, we're going to have to compromise on both sides of the ledger, and I think Governor Dayton has been very clear about his willingness. In fact, today, with the new budget deficit, he came out and moderated his position on certain
early. We put our budget deadlines up early so that we can put everything out in front of the people, so we can have a nice long debate where we can actually take this debate from one end of the state to the other, from north to south and east to west, and really hear from people. My guess is that we're going to have a pretty good sense of where people come from by the end of this thing in May.
We do have a $5 billion hole we have to fill. Are we going to fill that with all cuts, or are we going to be open to bringing some new revenue in to make it a much more balanced approach? That's the question before us, and then I really look forward to going out on the road with those two pretty stark differences going forward and asking the people of Minnesota what is better for the future of this state, what's better for the next generation, and what's more in tune with our values as a state.
So there is a lovely symmetry to all things, and somehow, someday, this will end. Thank you all so very much for coming, and thank you for your support of MinnPost.